Hello everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thank you for joining me. It's Saturday night. It's our live show. We are doing live tarot readings this evening. It's nice to see you guys all back. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for watching. I took last week off, so it's nice to be picking up a deck of cards again and being able to see everybody. So thank you guys for joining me. Those of you guys who are new to my channel, thank you for watching. Make sure that you hit the like and comment or share button. If you hit the bell button below, you're going to be able to get notifications as to when I go live. Usually it's every Friday, but we've been doing Saturdays because Saturdays have been a little bit easier for most people. We alternate and go back and forth between tarot and astrology. I'm an evolutionary and Western astrologer, but I've been practicing tarot for 14 years. During this segment, we're going to be doing live readings. Those of you guys who are a level 3 subscriber, you are going to be at the top of my list for being able to get your monthly readings. If you're not a subscriber, check out my subscriptions. You can support my channel by getting in on 1, 2, or level 3. The perk of being on level 3 is that you're going to get one reading once a month during my lives, whether it's tarot or astrology. If you are not a subscriber, do consider it, especially if you watch my weekly astro weather videos or my extra videos that I've been putting out for you guys. There is a QR code up here if you want to scan that to be able to give a donation for a reading. We're doing $20 for 1 card and $40 for 3 cards. Ask whatever you would like. Some of you guys have already kind of gotten in and purchased some readings, but before I get into that, those of you guys who are a level 3, like Sam Norton, Catherine Murray, Phoenix, Paula, Nancy, Jessica, Angeli, Emma, Emma's level 2. Any of you guys, except for Sam and Jessica, although if you're watching, we didn't get a chance to finish your question. If you want to ask me, let me know. But a big shout out to everybody who is level 3 and level 2. That's also including Emma and Susan Wexler. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. How was that eclipse for you guys? Oh man, I feel like it's still kind of hanging. We're in between eclipses right now. If you haven't already seen my eclipse video that I did about the eclipse in Taurus, do make sure that you watch that. We've got another one coming up here soon in early December that will be in Sag, and a couple other videos that are going to be coming out for you guys soon. Is there anybody who's a level 3 that wants to get a reading? Let me know. Thank you very much. I had a lot of people who were sending me all kinds of awesome messages and things. I've been gone for almost 2 weeks because I had my birthday and I got married. So definitely, if you haven't seen my Instagram and you want to see some beautiful beaches, do check out that on my stories. We have Asya and SR that are in the queue. Like I said, we're doing questions, 1 card for 20, 3 for 40. I'm doing well, guys. I am doing well. That square to Jupiter for that eclipse was a doozy. And guess what? It's still going to play out as we see planets in Scorpio come into that opposition, like the sun. And, well, the sun's already gone through the opposition, but we're still going to see, I think, Mercury and Mars go through that opposition as well. So it's going to re-trigger that eclipse really for the better part of the next week and a half or 2. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If there's nobody in level 3, I will go ahead and get started with those who are in the queue. If you guys send me a PayPal, just let me know because sometimes it doesn't update automatically. And also, you guys might have a different name on PayPal than you do on YouTube. 7th house eclipse is a good thing. Taurus in your 9th, Taurus midheaven. Lots of changes for your beliefs in your career then, guys. The fixed signs are feeling it the most. Please do hit that like button. We're going to go ahead and get into a 3-card reading for Asya. Let's see what's going on here. Her question is, 3-card reading regarding my love life. My intuition is telling me to let this guy free go because of a concerning red flag I'm seeing, but I have fear of making the wrong decision. A part of me knows if I let this one go, I'll make space for someone better, but I feel like I need more clarity. Let's take a look at what the cards have to say. So we're going to be doing a 3-card reading. Hey, Paula. Nice to see you. Do let me know if you want your reading, Paula. I will get you on the list. I hope you're doing well. That eclipse was a big one in your chart. All right, so let's see what we need to know regarding this guy. Does he stay or does he go? Man, all the fixed signs are really getting hit, man. Three of Coins, Temperance, Knight of Swords. I mean, here's the thing that I'll tell you is that I feel like even if you try to be like, oh, this isn't working, he's not going to go away. Okay, because I kind of see like the Three of Coins being reversed as being like, well, some things fit, some things don't. Trying to kind of analyze the situation and go, am I looking at it from too practical of a standpoint? Like, are you looking at it like he's successful or he's stable or he's physically there, but you're feeling like something is missing? Like there's something kind of going on here that is missing. Thanks, Paula. I'll get you up in just a second. Three of Coins reverse can also be like this feeling that he's trying really hard, or he's like building towards actual physical connection, or wanting to have something tangible, or wanting to kind of physically claim, right? Because when you're dealing with Pentacles, this can deal with physicality. I think when we look at the card when it's upright, it more so talks about like everything's going according to plan, giving it 3 weeks to 3 months, feeling it out, seeing how it goes. But it's also about being able to kind of build on something, feeling like you're building towards something. So when it's reversed, it's like you looking at the situation going, I don't really know if I'm too crazy about where this is going. Something is not kind of coming together. And then you've got Temperance reverse, which is saying like the timing is off, or there can be some like chemistry issues, or there can be some issues where you feel like everything's not exactly coming together the way that it should. I feel like Temperance reverse is also kind of suggesting that you may feel rushed. Like Temperance is kind of like a crock pot. You have to kind of put all the ingredients in it, let it sit, wait for everything to kind of come together, right? So naturally it'll kind of come to that, not necessarily a boiling point, but to where, I mean, this sounds silly, I'm like a total kitchen witch, but you don't want to cook like a pot roast in an hour flat, right? You want to let it go low and slow. So you want to let it take its time so it kind of really kind of builds together and brings all of those like flavors together. So when the Temperance card comes up reversed, it can be like this feeling that things are not coming together organically. There's some sense of things being forced, or not feeling like it's the right time, or that you're being kind of pressured time-wise. So there's something about this that makes me wonder, like, do you get the impression that he's like scrambling to like try to like lock this down because he's afraid that somebody else is gonna like take you off the market? Is there some sense of you being in a situation where also, especially pertaining to like dating and how things go with dating, that there can be some sense of like, especially because I think of Temperance as being like, it can be like a bar cart, it can be talking about drinking, or it can be talking about substances. And are you kind of getting into this like cycle where you never quite break out of like going out and just having dinner, or going out and just having drinks? There's no real kind of development into your personal lives, or there's no real bringing them into your personal space or introducing them to your friends. It could be kind of saying like you're intentionally holding off on some of that stuff because something doesn't feel right. Kind of feeling like dates are becoming like Groundhog's Day, or just that you're going through the motions, but the feelings aren't quite there. So I wonder if that's the case. Knight of Swords reversed is why I think he's not going to go away. This kind of suggests that you're still going to hear from him. He's still going to reach out. This is a very cause and effect card. So it's kind of suggesting that if something's off balance and you're feeling like he's pushing too much, you pull back. He's going to call more. He's going to reach out more. This can also be talking about conversations that you've had with him where you feel like he's aggressive, or he can be domineering, or he can be possessive, or he can be jealous, or there's some sense of him really feeling like he is the one calling the shots, or he's the one saying how things are going to go. Notice there's no feminine cards here. Yes, this is an angel, but for the most part, this is an angel that's actually more a masculine energy. I see this as Gabriel, or somebody who comes in and wants to like heal something. So maybe perhaps in the past you really liked really aggressive men, or maybe you liked men that were really quick to like want to push things along, but it's actually kind of saying like you're coming out of that period, you're coming out of that phase, you're not wild about it, you're not totally fixated on the idea of being claimed or even being in a relationship, that if something doesn't quite feel right, then you're not going to jump into it. I know your chart, so I'm going to tell you something, and this is something I was listening to recently in an astrology lecture where they were talking about Uranus going through the 7th house. Everybody knows that Uranus is a sense of unpredictability, detachment, things that come and go. It's like very quick moving, right? So people can quickly come into your life and quickly go out of your life. Now that Uranus is retrograde and it's retrograding back closer to your North Node, what you're going to notice is that people can come in and out of your life, especially during eclipse periods. So if it's a situation where perhaps right around the eclipse, you had this realization like, not for me, I'm quickly moving out of it. He has a Uranian response. It would not surprise me. I also get the impression that taking a step back can really kind of like pump the brakes and teach him that it's less about the physicality of the relationship, the claiming it or putting a title on it. And it's more about really building that solid foundation of knowing that you guys are like really jiving. Like for you to be a Scorpio rising, Taurus in the 7th, your Scorpio risings respond very well to partners who aren't going to push, partners who are just going to be like, whatever, I'm easygoing, I'm here. If you want it, I can enrich your life. I can give you more pleasure or more security or more love if you want it. When a partner shows up like that, you're more likely to respond to that in a matter where you're not feeling rushed or you're not feeling like you're being pressured into a situation where you have to commit. And I want you to look for partners who are going to be more Venusian or partners who are going to be more kind of relaxed and slow, right? They're going to take their time. I feel like this is also indicating that there is a possibility that there can be somebody else who comes into your life. It can be an air sign, so it can be a Gemini, it can be a Libra. It also could be, an Aquarius, but I get the impression that almost just creating that space to where you're like not always responding to him every day or you're not always going back and forth with him every day is kind of setting the ground rule that's just like, hey, just physically checking in with me and showing up, that's not enough. I actually need you to really respect the fact that I need my independence and I want you to have your independence too. So when we do come together, it's not going to be this thing where we lose our identity and we merge into each other. I get the impression also that there is some possibility that this is coming up for you right now to kind of show you the pattern that there can be the light and the dark side of any sign. Certainly, the more kind of higher vibration of Taurus is easygoing, lovable, very giving, very nurturing, very gentle, very slow. The darker side of Taurus is like jealous, possessive, stalker, like ones that will just like literally hunt you down. So it's actually showing you that love is not possession, and the need for you to kind of counterbalance that. And it's also an exercise for you communicating and expressing that the pace that he is going at is not your style anymore. In the past, maybe you saw that it was like a rush in, rush out situation. You're not going to be doing that anymore in your love life. I would say within the next 3 weeks, it does seem to me, or within a 3-month pattern. So I don't know how long you've been talking to him. You're going to explain to him, you know what? I just need a little space. You're still going to hear from him. Hold space to see how he responds to this. Also hold space to see if there's somebody else who's coming in, because I do feel like there's going to be somebody else who comes into your life who's going to have a major air element, who's going to understand and respect the fact that you're dating other people, or you're keeping your options open, or that you're busy, or that you're really focused on your work or your career. In doing so, I find that I think you're going to be more communicative. You're going to be less afraid to kind of tell people what's up, whether things are working or not working. With that Uranus transit through your 7th house, especially as it's making angles to transit Saturn, and also some of your natal placements in Scorpio, that square to Saturn in your 3rd house is really putting you on the spot to communicate and speak up. I've seen some Scorpio risings that have finally kind of come to some realizations in relationships where this square, which happened in February, June, and once again in December, has finally given them almost like the guts or the ability to really be clear with their communications and their boundaries with what does and does not work for them. So it's almost like you're going to be rewarded if you actually say, hey, this is my boundary, don't cross it, I'm not interested, this isn't working, and then you're going to move on to the next lesson, because it does seem to me like there's going to be a second step that is going to be coming for you pretty soon. Keep your eye out for that air sign. I don't get any bad vibes from this person, but I do feel like it's important to see how they respond to this. And also, whether it's a 3-week or a 3-month cycle, something is going to be kind of clearing. And yeah, if you feel like something is not coming together organically, then you have to really honor that, right? Especially right now, because you're like, whoa, something is off here. It can be that you're getting all the physicality of what you want from a relationship, but the chemistry is lacking, or there's something that just seems like the timing is off. Keep me updated. Let me know what happens. Thank you, Gail. Just let me know your question. I'll put you in the queue. I'm going to be reading for Paula. Paula, let me know your question. Thank you, Ursula. Thank you for stopping by, watching, supporting the channel. I appreciate it. All right, Paula, you let me know what you want me to answer for you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. There's lots and lots of good things coming for for Scorpio risings. You know, some of them are finally calling it quits in relationships. Other ones are realizing that they're really ready for something real, so they're having to kind of speak up. Paula says, how is my December? Intense stuff coming up. Congrats, you made a beautiful bride. How is the Bahamas? I love it there. It was beautiful. The Virgin Islands is one of my favorite places. Lots of sun. Surprised I did not come back with a sunburn. So let's see how your December is going to go, Paula. Make sure I mark you down here. Your birthday is coming up too. So happy early birthday to you. It is going to be Sag season soon. I know all the Scorpios don't want to hear that yet. They're still partying. Thank you, Gail. I got you. I'll get you in just a second. All right, so let's see how your December is going to go, Paula. Intense stuff is happening, especially if you have a Gemini rising and a Sag sun. Eclipses are coming. There's that Knight of Swords again, popping up. You know, here's what I'm going to tell you. When you're having eclipses in your 1st and your 7th house, thankfully this is going to be the last one of the series that we've been having for the better part of the last year and change. It's inevitable when you're dealing with 7th house eclipses that there is some kind of you having to, I'm just gonna come out with it. Like there can be drama, right? There can be a sense of you having to have words with people. The 7th house isn't just about marriage. The 7th house is about open conflict, okay? So when we think of Libra, that can come in, it can settle the conflict, it can be like the middleman and kind of find the mediation ground. 2 of Cups reverse is saying that like there can be some challenges in terms of how you are getting along with or pairing or partnering with other people, especially if you're not feeling supported. So there's something going on here where it's like in the relationship aspect or in terms of partnering with people, you're feeling like people aren't meeting you halfway, or there's some issue revolving around finally like the anxieties of what you haven't spoken about, what you haven't talked about, things that you think about but you don't share. You can be feeling like words are coming out the wrong way. There can be a sense of you kind of either feeling like people are being really short with you or you're being really short with other people. The Knight of Swords reverse can kind of indicate like a quarrel or a conflict, or you know, something like some conversation being handled very quickly and being rushed through. So when it comes to like communicating with other people, being able to mediate with other people, sign contracts, have important meetings, whatever, like be mindful that there is a fine line between standing up for yourself and also just like point blank just having a meltdown because finally there's just like this word vomit because there's been holding back on what you've really been thinking about or how you really have been feeling. Equally, there can be some kind of news that comes very quickly where you're feeling as if somebody doesn't have your back, or there's some situation where somebody who you thought you were really close to or you had support from does not prove to be reliable. This is also a card of conflict. The 5 of Wands Thankfully, the Six of Wands afterwards talks about victory, but the Five of Wands is like needing to stand your ground and needing to stand up to other people, feeling like there's like a lot of conflict around you, or feeling like there's a lot of people around you who are challenging your status or challenging your stance on a situation. Equally, this can be talking about the need for you to finally feel like you hash out certain situations and issues, so you can become closer in a relationship or a partnership. There can be some kind of conflict or disagreement over travel or something involving a vehicle, or literally something that's written. I want you to really pay attention for things that are written, documents, things that are signed. This can be talking about also a situation where you don't want to jump to conclusions. Like if there is another couple that's like having drama, having issues, having problems, whether it's two people at work or two people that you know who are personally together, misery can love company with this combination. And so there can be a sense of like other people kind of stirring the pot and orchestrating conflict that will then in turn cause conflict in your relationship or in your life. Watch out for that. Clearing your energy regularly, like whether you want to do mantras, you want to use bells, you want to use crystals, you want to sage, you want to do something like that. It can be really positive because it's kind of suggesting like not allowing yourself to fall victim into the drama that's being created by other people and bringing that into your personal life. Equally, if you're feeling conflicted as to whether or not you say something, take a breath, stop, think it through before you have the conversations that you need to have. Keep in mind, all of the planets right now, for the most part, Sun, Mercury, Mars are all in Scorpio. So it's just hanging out in your 6th house where you can feel like a little bit more nitpicky than usual, a little bit more particular. There can be a sense of you kind of being a little bit more hypercritical. But once these planets start to ingress and make their way into Sagittarius, that can be a much more positive, uplifting sign. And for Gemini risings, it's like really giving you the opportunity that even in the face of conflict, to see how other people can rise up and meet you halfway. So don't look at this as like it's all negative. It's not. I actually see it as an opportunity to be like, hey, this, and this, it's not working for me. It hasn't been working for me for some time. How can we find a solution? How can we work through this? Or being really quick to just kind of cut through the bullshit, especially when other people are trying to kind of bring drama to your doorstep. I don't see you as being somebody who's willing to do that. Do your best not to kind of get affected by what's around you. Like I said, there does seem to be some sense of either gossip, drama, slander, negativity, even in how people are communicating and talking around you. Like keep your relationship stuff very private is something I would recommend also for the better part of the next couple of weeks, because to me it seems as if people can see that they can poke holes in that right now, they're going to do that and they're going to create problems. Thankfully, that's why you get a reading, you have a heads up, you know that it's coming, you can avoid the conflict, you can choose to not communicate and share that with other people, so that way you're not leaving your relationship with other people or your personal relationship in a very vulnerable position. Hopefully that is helpful for you. We've got SR that purchased a 3-card reading. Hopefully you're still here. Hi, Fiona. It's nice to see you. I will put you in the queue. That's totally fine. I will put you in the queue. You're going to be about 2 people back, but you can do that. So SR asked, hoping there's something about my career, money that comes up, or something about a guy. Mr. Aqua. Paula says, where is your tan? Girl, I glow in the dark. I don't tan. I got little tiny grill marks though. Little ones. You're welcome, Paula. Get that sage, girl. All right, so let's see what's going on with SR. Something about career, money, or a guy. Ooh, that one wanted to come out. All right, so let's take a look. Wow, some pretty great cards here for you, SR. So these are 2 major arcana. Obviously, if you're familiar with the tarot, you know there's only 22 of them. So if you're getting a 3-card spread and 2 of them come up, it's pretty significant. You've got 2 of the best cards in the deck, to be honest with you. The Sun card talks about happiness, joy, ego, what makes you happy. I kind of get the impression that This is more talking about you taking charge with what you want. There may be some sense of you taking a step back and not being as heavily focused on relationships, or not being as heavily focused on a man or somebody being in your life right now. To me, like the Sun card is basically saying, I'm really focused on what brings me happiness, what brings me fulfillment. The Sun card can literally be similar to the Sun in astrology. So it also talks a lot about your job and your career. I noticed that you asked questions about career or money. To be honest with you, it's like, for the money to show up, the career stuff has to be flowing, right? We're not seeing any coins. Really what it's saying is, I think there is this period of enlightenment that the power lies in your hands. It's really about what you want when it comes to your love life, when it comes to your career, when it comes to your happiness, when it comes to your control. I think it's interesting that the Emperor is coming up in the center position, reversed as the right now, where it's maybe this like enlightenment period where you're like, you know what? It's about what I want, not about who wants me or who finds me or whether or not I'm partnered or whether or not somebody is giving me approval. It's about how I feel about myself. So this is an interesting period that you have, especially since to me, it seems like it's something that you've really been working on since the spring of this year. It's now coming full circle. The 10 of Cups does talk a lot about happiness and joy, emotional fulfillment. This is the happily ever after card. So that does tell me that there is some sense of awareness that's becoming heightened when it comes to your personal power. And the Emperor, when he's reversed, can get frustrated. He can be kind of agitated. He can feel like he doesn't have all of the power, or it can be kind of talking about some internal struggles that are going on right now with you, where you're not totally aware of how powerful you are. You're not totally aware of the power of happiness and what it means to find something that brings you happiness. The Sun partnered with the Emperor, even when it's reversed, it's like you may have a situation with your career where you have a boss, you've got a superior, or somebody who has been like, it's not good enough, or you need to do this better, or you need to work harder, or you need to come in earlier, whatever. And it's basically saying not to allow yourself to get blocked by demanding energies or energies that may not be recognizing that you are doing a great job. Equally, this can be talking about you, because the Emperor can be talking about your own personal drive, your own personal energy, and assertiveness. I want you to think about assertiveness, not aggressiveness, assertiveness. Being assertive and basically going, I know that I only need and deserve the best. I'm going to be aiming for the best. And not just the best in terms of dollar signs or status, but more like what makes you happy, because the Emperor reverse is not always the happiest. He doesn't always feel like he's in the driver's seat. But when the Sun comes up with the 10 of Cups, it's saying the goal is happiness, not necessarily success, not necessarily a lot of money, not even necessarily a relationship, but where you feel like you're in control. This can be talking about where Mars is in your chart right now. Mars is following closely with the Sun in Scorpio. So depending on your personal chart, your rising sign, you want to look at where Scorpio is right now, the planets that are moving through there, and it almost seems like it's a setup to kind of make you go, what needs to change, what needs to transform in order to bring more happiness, in order to feel like I have more control of my life. 10 of Cups can also be talking about fulfillment that's coming from changes in either your emotions, your family, your personal life. That can be kind of alluding to the fact that you're no longer looking for a partner to come into your life to make you feel fulfilled. If that has been the case for some time and you've realized that you keep kind of putting that happiness on other people, you're going to start kind of shifting your perspective and going like, you know what, a relationship would be the icing on the cake for my life right now. I need to really focus on my own happiness, and when I'm doing that, everything else is going to follow. I would say to you also that with the Sun and the Emperor coming up together, this can be talking about a period of really important awareness revolving around your career, coming into an important time where a lot of the things that are going to pan out are as a result of the action you take. There can be important men in your life right now, whether it's bosses or partners or even relationships, even with a father figure. So it's also talking about that when you start to kind of look at maybe relationships that you have had either with employers or with men or even your own father, you might realize like, whoa, there's a pattern, right? There's a pattern of me seeking recognition. There's a pattern of me wanting the pat on the back. There's a pattern of me not necessarily getting enough of something. And so the Sun is almost enough to kind of flip the Emperor on his, right side up and make you feel like you're in control once you realize, like, I can't keep putting myself in a position of waiting for other people to give me that recognition or that acknowledgement or that power or that appreciation. I have to do it for myself. So start looking at things that way. I would say 10 days, 10 weeks, there does seem to be some huge emotional shift. This does seem to insinuate, especially when it's dealing with a man, if you're feeling a little in the dark right now about him, or that you're not quite getting like the confidence boost that you need or the clarification that you need from that person is interested. They may not always externally show it, right? They may not be super showy physically. They may not be showing up a lot, but there is some sense of you bringing joy and happiness to this connection. There is some sense of this person being like, wow, is this too good to be true? Do I need to keep my guard up a little bit? Like, stay warm in that connection. Don't cut that connection off. Be more focused on what's going on with yourself and asking yourself, does it feel good? Does it feel like fun? Does it feel warm, right? There's some sense of really needing a lot of sunlight and a lot of heat with all of these cards. New Moon in Aries, Stallion with Cancer rising. Been doing lots and lots of inner work. Yes, I'm aware of this important phase in my life. Yeah, I mean, like, this could be the phase. Like, the Sun and the Emperor can be a period where, like I said, there's either huge accomplishments with your career or there's huge accomplishments in terms of your relationships. If you're a Cancer rising, you got a Venus retrograde coming in your 7th house. You've got Jupiter in Aries next year. That's going to be moving in the spring into your 10th house of career. That is going to sit basically at the top of your chart saying, what kind of a lifestyle would you like? Where would you like to live? How do you want to work? How do you want to help people? What feels like it's kind of all coming together for you? I feel like also for you personally, a lot of this Venus retrograde that's coming is about clearing out the past. So how relationships have gone versus how they're going to go moving forward. So definitely make sure you're listening to those Cancer rising horoscopes. It's really important for you. I'm going to be putting some of that stuff out in terms of the Venus retrograde pretty soon. But also keep your eyes out, because I kind of get the impression that, yes, there's an Aquarius, but there can be some really significant Aries energies that's coming into your life, whether this is bosses or jobs or even men that you're meeting. There's some really strong Aries energy that's in this chart. Maybe right now it's that you've got Mars in Cancer, right? Mars is going through your 5th house or somewhere around there, which is really activating everything in terms of like your love life and passion. But the Sun does have a child, right? There is a kid that's on the horse, and it's a messenger of joy. It's a message of being able to bring youth and kind of like fun and sweetness into your life. And with the Emperor and the 10 of Cups, like if you look at this, you've got, you know, a man and a woman, they're standing, they're dancing, they're embracing each other. There's 2 kids that are kind of like hanging out and playing. Like, this is kind of the family and like long-term kind of like commitment partner card. So there can be this shift going on when it comes to like the types of men that you're looking at or you're considering dating, and that you're really looking for somebody who's going to be more of this Emperor figure when it comes to approaching your love life. So you're really looking to kind of level up. But pay attention to really significant Aries placements that come into your life right now. Sun, Moon, rising. It could even be perhaps like Jupiter aspects. Kind of makes me feel like there's more of these people who are going to start showing up, who are going to say to you, okay, here, you take the lead. And they're going to kind of show you that they're willing to work with you, rather than kind of always you being like held off and like waiting for other people to make decisions. Like, you're not doing that anymore. You're going to keep the energy moving forward. Hopefully that was helpful for you, SR. You'll have to let me know. All right, so we got Paula, we got Asya, we got SR. So we've got Fiona, and we've also got Gail. So Fiona, I'll be with you in just a second. Let's go ahead and get Gail taken care of. What do I need to know about the next few months? Leo rising, Pisces sun, and a Cancer moon. My, oh my, those Leo risings, they have had quite the year. Thank you so much for your donation and your generosity, Gail. I appreciate it. All of the donations go towards being able to make this channel keep going, production costs, all kinds of stuff, and me making other videos. I'm glad that resonates with you. I'm excited to see what happens for you. All right, Gail, let's see what you've got going on for the next couple months. Wow. Magic. Lots of magic. I really like this spread because I feel like you're on the precipice of just like totally smashing through some barriers and smashing through some really big walls psychologically. It almost seems as if like the universe is working with you. What's getting ready to happen is you're going to start seeing the physical manifestations and changes that you have really been focusing on or asking for. It just hasn't shown up yet. You got to wait for the third dimension to kind of catch up to you. I know this sounds kind of silly, but Ace of Wands coming up to me is like, boom, new beginnings. Things are happening very quickly. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of creativity that's coming. There's more opportunities for your artistic self, your sex life, and actually getting things moving and shaking. If you have felt like things have been stagnant, if you have felt like you have not been able to fully express yourself, there's projects you want to do, places you want to go, things and people you want to see, this is all getting ready to shift for you in a very big way. The Ace of Wands is like the seed that you plant in the ground and then it just immediately kind of shoots up. Really look for this to probably start happening for you in Sag season. It definitely makes sense to me, especially being a Leo rising. Once we start getting all those planets that are moving into your 5th house, which is more fun, exciting, it can be adventurous, it can give you the opportunity to go on trips, vacations, start projects. You've got an eclipse coming there. It can even be an opportunity to launch something new or give birth to a new project, fall in love, connect with people, and just be more authentic with your own personal energy. Yes, you got a lot of water, but that Leo rising is really going to help you out with this eclipse, and I'm excited to see what happens for you during Sag season. 8 of Swords reversed. What I like about this card is that when it's reversed, all of the swords fall away, right? So it's, you know, the girl is like blindfolded. She feels like she's stuck. She can't get out. She can't go anywhere. But when you flip the card upside down, all the swords fall away. And like there was this opportunity to remove the mask and see where there have been situations where you have been blinded and thinking that you're limited when really it was all just ideas. It was limiting thoughts, limited communication. So almost as if like everything's going to become untangled. And look for this to really play out over the next 8 days, 8 weeks. The 8 of Swords reversed also talks about releasing of anxiety, letting things go, letting the chips fall as they may. If there are some situations that you feel like are lost or aren't going to work or need to be done, or you're finally realizing like, wow, I can overcome and supersede certain situations. It's all my mindset. Breaking bad habits, especially mentally or intellectually. If you feel like you've been on like repeat mode where you keep getting stuck in the same lessons, that's all getting ready to move away. Then we have the Magician, which is basically talking about as above, so below. So like I said, you're waiting for the third dimension to catch up. The Magician has all 4 elements on his table. He has Pentacles for physical change. He has the Wand for being able to orchestrate and manifest and create things. He's got the Cups for emotion, and he's got the Dagger or the Sword to be able to bring down these ideas, communicate, write, express, and use intelligence. I think that of all of the elements, if I think of like the Magician, I really think of the Magician and the Wands because, well, you can't be a magician without a wand, right? You need to be able to like make magic happen. So the Magician really loves working with the wand because he can basically go, and I'm changing this, and we're changing this, and we're changing this. And it really gives him the ability to like get super creative and super theatrical and very dramatic. Like I really want you to be very aware of where passions are coming up for you in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be some shift that's going to be happening where you're going to be like, you know what? I actually think I can do this. I think I can totally change some certain situation around. And it's going to seem a little wild. It's going to seem like it's out of the blue. Like you didn't see it coming. You're also possibly going to think like, wow, is it even possible for me to make that happen? There's going to be some idea. It can come to you in a dream. It can come to you intuitively. It can even be through this reading or through you starting to kind of get more in touch with almost like Esther Hicks, right? Like the vortex or something. It's like the manifestational pull of what you really want to have happen. And I want you to just cast aside any doubts because the whole point of the 8 of Swords coming up reversed is like being like, well, I'm not going to like let that voice get in my head and tell me that I can't do it or it's not going to happen. We want to kind of clear that out. It can also be a really cool way, I guess a really great way for you to be able to start manifesting this is like, find something that's going to bring you that personal power. If you want to make your own wand, make your own wand. If you want to go and find a beautiful piece of wood and you want to wrap it with some wire and put like a crystal point at the top, or maybe you want to get like a selenite wand, right? Or something that you can use that's going to physically direct that power and start regularly getting into the habit of using that. For some people, it doesn't have to be a wand. It can be a pen, it can be a paintbrush, but there's something that you need to do to be able to start orchestrating this. Intuitively, I feel like working with the magician card, at least for me, like when it comes up repetitively, it gets me kind of in the flow of being like, okay, I need to like actually have something that's going to allow me to manifest what I'm thinking about. Vision boards are really great with the magician because they work in these really magical ways where all the things that you cut out and you put on the vision board and you like put it somewhere that you're going to see every day. And it doesn't have to be obvious. If you talk to anybody who's into like magic or chaos magic or sigils, they'll tell you, create the sigil, burn it, let it go, or put it somewhere that you're going to see every day, but it's not going to be right in front of your face. So your subconscious mind is picking it up on a regular basis and you're actually starting to manifest that. I'd like you to do something like that and find a way to be able to, on a daily basis, have a reminder of what it is that you're manifesting. Because having that with the magician is literally saying, like, you're going to make that happen. You're going to bring that into reality, as above, so below, and you'll start actually seeing it kind of show up in your life. And some of these things are going to seem a little out there. They're going to be things that maybe you never thought, patterns you never thought you'd break, or habits you never thought you'd get rid of, or maybe projects or hobbies or things like that that you never really got around to doing. It's time to get that moving, just so you can start breaking down all the limitations where you have felt blocked or that you're not capable. Once you get into this and you're doing it for a period of a couple of weeks, you're going to find that you're just going to start manifesting things really quickly, like crazy, and you're going to realize that the power lies within you. All of the limitations are purely mental and there's nothing that you can't do, and you're really going to start to kind of get your groove back. Allow yourself to kind of work on this for the better part of the next 8 weeks, but I feel like by the time you get to end of Sag season, you're going to see things change. For Leo rising, it can be a really challenging time with all these planets in Scorpio. All these emotions are coming up, thinking about the past, family drama, home drama, hot emotional mess. It's okay to be in that. No, once you get to Sag season and all these planets start kind of moving there and you get to the eclipse time, that's the time that you really want to start implementing some of this stuff. Hopefully that's helpful for you in the next couple of months. Thank you. It's so nice to see you, Lee. I hope you're well. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. So let's see, we have got my little girly Fiona. What do you need to know? Let me update my PayPal. Those of you guys who are just tuning in, we are doing live tarot readings. 1 card for 20, 3 for 40. Check out the QR code. We've also got Super Chat. Looks like Jeffrey got in here after Fiona. Grizz, 3 card reading. Virgo Sun, Moon, Venus. Taurus rising. Earth Daddy. Thank you, SR. I'm just seeing your comment. Thank you, Gail. Such great cards you got. All right, so let's see what Fiona needs to know. My goodness, it's like I see your name and I start thinking about your chart, and I'm so curious to see what goes on with that Venus retrograde for you. Thank you. Thank you, Flower. It's nice to see you. No worries. Let's see what we've got for you, Fiona. Okay, so once again, we've got 2 majors here. Here's the thing that I want you to know that's going on right now. There is going to be some very unusual happenings going on in terms of your relationships and your partnerships. if I remember correctly, you're a Libra rising, right? Just remind me. I'm pretty sure that you are. But Justice card can be really talking about almost like karmic patterns that have been going on for some time are now starting to get shaken out, and whatever is meant to be like dealt is going to be dealt, both for you and for other parties. I strongly get this impression that there's a lot of you getting ready to finally deal with and hash out the past, right? Like a lot of the past. 10 of Cups reversed, the Justice reversed is basically reflecting on relationships, why you are where you are now, what didn't work in the past. Like, it's more about what other people need to wrap up with you. It's not so much about you. I do think you're going to be hearing from the past. I do think also this is a time where there are huge shifts that are going to be going on in your life pertaining to redirecting you towards relationships, marriage, some kind of karma dealing with your mother, okay? Justice in the Moon tells me that there's some family karma, there's some mother karma, there's some relationship karma coming up. You know, 10 of Cups reversed is still a pretty good card. It's basically saying more of the accomplishments and things that are going on are happening internally. It's happening privately. Justice reversed is saying there are some things out of whack. If you feel like you should have been on a different path, or if you're like, you know, it's not fair, this relationship didn't work out, or, you know, that living situation didn't work out, or that marriage didn't work out. It's almost like everything is being rearranged right now. And this is the case for a lot of Libra risings. If you are a Libra rising who is experiencing a lot of squares from Pluto in your 4th house, this Venus retrograde is going to come in and it's basically going to say, look, if there's any loose ends that we need to tie up from the past where other people's actions have, in theory, upset the karmic balance and affected you, we're going to clear it out. Equally, if there are people that you need to talk to, clear things up with, hash out, cut them off, whatever, you need to do the same thing. So it's interesting that this kind of coming up where it's saying it's more other people and unfinished business with you, and also some kind of family karma that's going to be dealt with. There can be some kind of legal documents, legal proceedings, things that you didn't really expect that you needed to handle, especially within the family. The Justice card can be talking about having to sign legal documents or having to agree to something legally, needing some kind of legal support. And then the Moon card is saying, intuitively you have this feeling like something's coming, but it's hard for you to see your way through the dark. Or that your intuition is basically telling you that it may not be totally over between you and other people, that there is something coming that's building where you're going to be hearing from other people. Venus has already gone into the shadow, so I'd be interested to hear, how has it played out for you even in the last week? Has there been just an uptick in intuition? Has there been this uptick in feeling like people from the past are going to reach back out? Do you feel like you've been reminiscing and thinking about your past a lot and like really asking yourself, okay, am I finally putting to an end, you know, these chapters or these patterns of these relationship patterns that keep happening? Because to me, it seems like you're done, but other people aren't done with you. So you need to be aware of that. The Moon card does talk a lot about the lunations. So obviously we just had this eclipse that was in Taurus. There's another one that's coming in Sag. Knowing that you're a Taurus sun, certainly that one hits you pretty hard. But the Moon card is also talking about the next eclipse that's going to be happening in Sagittarius, which can have you signing documents, receiving important mail. There can be some kind of important conversations that you're having with other people to kind of reconnect or maybe reset the balance. And the Moon card's a family card. The 10 of Cups is a family card. Pay attention to family situations. Pay attention to if somebody talks to you about handling things, being responsible for things, being somebody who is going to take something over for the family, especially anything that pertains to your mother. For some reason, this is coming up pretty prominently. It may take about 10 weeks for this to play out. This isn't going to be something that's going to happen immediately. It's going to take time. But what's weird about a Venus retrograde in your 4th house, especially conjunct Pluto, is that it is insinuating that if there does need to be any rebalancing, right? If you're owed something, if you're owed an inheritance, karmically speaking, if you're owed a new property, if you're owed a new relationship, if you have earned your keep in a sense of really being able to wipe the slate clean from the past, you're going to get that. But a lot of this is going to be emotional. A lot of this is going to be things that you can't physically see. It's going to be huge shifts emotionally for you. Pay attention also to any changes that are going on here with your lower back. There can be lots of shifts going on with your lower back, or emotional blockages that are happening in your stomach, your breast, or your lower back, because this is very Cancer, this is very Libra. So these can be two other things that are going on for you right now. If you're feeling like somebody's trying to connect to you or talking to you in some way through dreams, or that there's some reconnection through dreams, do not act on it. To me, it seems as if like your justice, like you're holding the scales, basically being like, if you want to talk to me in real life, you got to reconnect with me in real life. Because in order for me to have my happily ever ending, it needs to be somebody who's going to meet me halfway. Because to me, it seems like a lot of the anxiety that's coming up for you, or concerns about where you're going to live, or what's going to happen with a home, or what's going to happen with an emotional connection, is you needing to stand back and really hold the line and go, no, things have not been in balance in the past. There has not been fairness. There has not been support. If you're going to come in, it needs to be this or better, right? So there's really hold the line on that. This is going to be really, really, really important now through about the beginning of March, because you're not going to be allowed to go back to old patterns emotionally, within your home, within your family. And also just if you're wanting to completely rework your life in general and focus more on like your domestic zone, I do get the impression that there is some sense of you basically really needing to be a little bit more of a stickler and listening to your intuition. Even if people don't agree with some of the stuff that you're saying, it doesn't matter. There's like a voice in the back of your mind that's saying like, no, don't allow this to happen. Don't allow that person to come back. Don't allow them to kind of push your buttons. Don't let them take advantage of things, because once that Venus retrograde starts, you'll start seeing, I think it's right around December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Venus will conjunct Pluto. Now that's your chart ruler, Venus. So that's going to show you where the toxic patterns from the past are coming back in. It can be something as simple as, you know, you find some issue in a partnership that reminds you of your family, or reminds you of an issue in your family, or reminds you of the past. It can be also just your intuition, I think, kicking into overdrive, because the 4th house can act more kind of like Cancer or the moon. Lots of reflections on relationships and not decided where I want to live. Okay, so look for that first transit with the conjunction to Pluto. I think I told you this in a reading, but I remember saying to you, if you are looking at homes or properties or things like that, this Venus retrograde can be gnarly. You want to watch out for foundation issues. You want to watch out for haunted houses. You want to watch out for also like buying land or homes that may have foundation issues or structural issues. On the flip side of Venus retrograde in the 4th, you can find a really great deal. So you can find a house that's just like a total steal. It might need a lot of work. It will probably be older because it's Capricorn. But I also feel like it's going to be very different than where you thought you were going to end up. Connect with the moon, talk to the moon, interact with the moon, reflect on that, like ask for guidance or some sense of really reflecting and highlighting where maybe some of these issues and hangups with where you're going to live or what have you is really more so a reflection of you emotionally not having wrapped certain things up. Because to me, it seems like there's all these like little loose strings that you might have with other people, where there's been like a lot of like you overly exerting yourself trying to make other people happy, right? The Justice reverse and the 10 of Cups is like what's best for other partners and where you could live to accommodate them, or where you could live to accommodate your family. Like, you're not doing that anymore. Libra risings can no longer be pushovers. It's not the way things work. Now with having Saturn and Jupiter in your 5th house, it's about what makes you happy, what brings you joy, not so much other people. So a lot of the plans that you're going to make are not going to be based off of these people. They're going to be based off of you. So look for these signs to be coming from your dreams and your intuition. Look for the beginning ideas of new places and new even properties or things to be emerging, a new emotional self to be emerging. It's very personal for you because Venus doesn't just rule your 1st house, it also rules your 8th house. And that's dealing all about the exchange you have with other people and whether or not you feel like you have security, changes and transformation. And the 1st house is the identity of the self. So there is some sense of cutting yourself off fully from the past, not allowing the past to come back or old patterns to come back, so you can shift the way that you feel, but also the way that you portray yourself or even how you look. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Last call is coming up soon. It's hard to believe that the hour has almost gone by. We've got Grizz Logic here. And he wants a general love reading. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Venus, Taurus, rising. That's a lot of fifth house. Are you a magician? You probably are. Are you a musician? Let me know. It's a lot of fifth house. You must have some really great hair, huh? Let's take a look. So what does Grizz need to know about love? Ooh. King of Pentacles. So that's you, the Earth Daddy. A real focus on security, stability. It can be talking about you personally, but it's also talking about what you value, like what you're putting your time, your energy, your money into. Obviously, there's no other people showing up, but we do have the Four of Wands and the Eight of Wands. You might be feeling a little like stifled, where it's like socially things aren't quite up and moving yet. Usually the Four of Wands is like going to a bar, going to a concert, going to a party, interacting with people out and about. And the Eight of Wands is like a go, go, go kind of energy. So you may feel more like you're wanting to connect with people, but you're trying to figure out where or how to better connect with people. Look for opportunities to get outside. I know that sounds silly. I don't know where you live. I don't know what the weather's like with where you're living. But Four of Wands is like if you can go to an outside venue, or if you can go outside where there's a patio and there's drinks to be able to meet people, or you're invited to a party or a gathering or a get together, go. Four of Wands reversed is also talking about small accomplishments. So this can be smaller parties, smaller goals. Usually the Four of Wands is where you see like outside people interacting. Like think of like an art show, or maybe going to like an art walk, or maybe going outside and seeing some live music. These are going to be the best places that you can go to be able to connect with people. But it's also talking about smaller goals. So when you're asking about your love life, Four of Wands is the card of marriage, but it's reversed. So it's saying like maybe not looking for that right now, but definitely looking for somebody who wants to get together, has a good time. You're more about being able to be in the environment of people who you enjoy being around. You're less like focused right now on being able to have like physical commitment. Let me know if I'm wrong. If you're a Taurus rising also, like I think about the fact that now the South Node's getting ready to go into your 7th house. The North Node's going into your 1st house. You've got Uranus there. So there's some sense of like wanting to just sometimes be on your own. And that can be the case with the King of Pentacles. So there can be some sense of really holding yourself in really high regard, and being the type of person that's like, I would rather have quality over quantity. So you're not going to like lower your standards. You're not going to date for the sake of dating. You're going to do something if it makes sense for you, if it works for you. Coming into a connection with somebody where you can be yourself, you can be authentic. If you want to hang out and be a scrub and wear, sweatpants and just do nothing, you can. Or on the flip side, if you want to be able to have somebody who's not going to pressure you into commitment or a relationship or trying to make you be somebody that you're not, it has to work at the perfect time. You also have to understand that if you do have a Virgo Sun, Moon, and Venus, all in the 5th house is all about you. It means that you are lovable, you're creative, but you're very picky, you're very particular. Personally, I think Jupiter going into Pisces in the next month or two is going to be really good for you, because it's going to go into your 11th house. It's going to oppose your Venus. You're going to meet new people. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to connect with people who are very different. They may be more creative, artistic. I would say like look for art shows, concerts, music, where you can connect with people who are more creative or spiritual. So I don't think you're going to have a hard time connecting for a very long time. I do think that the 8 of Wands reverse is an interesting energy, because you're just like, okay, I'm ready to go. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to do this. No, I'm not. Like, it's almost like a start-stop energy where you get excited for the idea of being able to connect with people, and maybe you get disappointed, or maybe you get your hopes up, or there can be this feeling of just like, especially sexually, like things are not flowing right now. Like there can be a sense of you being like, yeah, I can sleep with somebody, but I don't want casual sex, right? I want more of a connection. So it's this frustration that you're not really making those connections, or that you're not really feeling like you've met anybody who's interested you enough to take that next step. So 8 of Wands reversed can be talking about scattered energy as well. It's my opinion that if you have a Venus in Virgo, especially in the 5th house, like the key is, you know, you need somebody who is going to appreciate the lengths that you go to for perfection, right? Usually if you have a lot of Virgo planets, especially in the 5th, you are very hard on yourself. You can be very hypercritical. There can be a sense of you really kind of feeling like you're always analyzing everything about yourself. But when you're with somebody or you connect with somebody who compliments you or kind of tells you, you know, they give you that love that the 5th house really wants, then you start to kind of open up and kind of realize like, wow, I am lovable. And you kind of let your guard down a little bit. So I would say with that 8 of Wands reversed, it's less about sexual energy. It's more about people who are going to try to connect with you in a loving manner that's outside of physicality or outside of sex, right? I really think that you have a lot to look forward to with this Jupiter opposition that's coming in the new year. I would say, and I would say this to any Virgo placement really, especially if you have a lot of Earth, especially really heavy Earth men are not always aware that they can come off very stoic or a little serious or a little cold or a little detached. There can be a sense of being like, well, I'm here, aren't I, right? But what I want you to think about is really kind of opening up, being a little bit more of that like Venusian energy. I think the Venus retrograde is going to be cool for you too, because it's going to be really great if you've got all that Earth going on. There's going to be a lot of trines and things that are happening. So another great way to meet people is traveling, or perhaps even taking classes or courses, or maybe even trying to connect with people at a distance. And if you have the opportunity to do some kind of traveling or taking classes or courses that might have to do with philosophy or belief, especially in love, I think that would be really interesting for you. Something that I've recommended for a lot of people, and it sounds so silly, but like it really has worked for a large number of my clients, is Deepak Chopra. He did a whole CD that was like all meditations on like love and connecting and relationships, and it has like a lot of like really interesting mantras, and all of the tracks on there I have found to be like really, like there's something to it. I don't know. And I don't usually like praise like gurus and stuff. Might be something that you want to take a listen to, because for somebody who's so heavily Earth dominant, and also you may be a little bit more hypercritical of yourself, that can be something great just getting into the flow of listening to, and it might bring more of that vibration into your life. So that way when you're going out and about, it's almost like you're flipping that switch on where you're carrying yourself with more confidence. It's always easy to spot a man who has Venus in the 5th house, because they kind of like have like this like swag, right? Like when you think of the 5th house is like Leo. So men who have Venus there, even if it's in Virgo, even if it's in a detriment sign, they have this real kind of sexy, charismatic sense of just like knowing that like they're attractive. And as soon as you turn that on, like you'll notice that you're going to have more connections and interactions with women. Focus more about being able to connect outside of the sexual realm. And I think that you're going to notice that there are some connections that are happening. But go and put yourself in environments or places that you're not typical to frequent or to kind of hang out in. And I think that is going to be the magic sauce, my friends. Let me know what happens. It's going to be good for you, that Venus retrograde. It's going to give you a lot more opportunities to connect with people. Okay, we make sure we didn't miss anybody. Looks like we've got everyone. I will be back. I'm going to have a video out in the next day or two that's going to be for the weekly astro weather. I want to talk to you guys a little bit of coming off of what's happened with these lunations and the eclipse that we had. And I'm going to start working on a video for the other eclipse and for the Venus retrograde. So I know I keep saying that, but I promise it's coming. I just wanted to put a lot of notes and like effort and things together. If you're someone, oh, okay. All right, Grizz, men, there you go. If you're someone who is one of my level 3 participants and you want to be able to get a reading, I will be back next week. Probably most likely it is either going to be Friday or Saturday. Stay tuned. I will be putting that in shortly. Thank you guys for watching and supporting. I'll see all of you guys very soon, and make sure that you check out my links below. You can follow my social media. You can see me on Instagram if you like astro memes. I've got a couple spots left, I think, in the new year for readings, so you can check out my website at beyondtheveiltarot.com. gmail.com if you would like to book a reading with me. Otherwise, you guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see all of you very soon. Take care.